My name is Tate with Train to Win.
I'm Darrel.
Today we're going to be going over our dynamic warm-ups.
So our first one that we're going to do is just a simple knee hug. When we do a knee hug, we need to preload opposite leg. We bring up the knee, clasp underneath the kneecap, go pipe straight, pull knee into chest, chest into knee. Few steps. Preload opposite leg, clasp under the knee, drive heel straight, pipe straight, knee to chest, chest to knee. Getting full on hip separation, where we're getting the back leg pipe straight and getting the lead leg up as high as possible to open up the hips. Preload, pipe straight, pull. Preload, pipe straight, pull. So our next mobility drill is called the inverted hamstring. I'll do this one from the side. Now we preload opposite leg again, but we keep the bend in the knee. We need to pivot at the hips, drive our hands out towards the wall in front of us, drive the heel towards the back wall behind us as one unit. One thing that we don't want to do is go pipe straight and then also tip the chest down before we kick the leg back. Or like so. Again, preload, pivot at the hip, drive the heel back, hands forward. One other opposite thing that we need to make sure that we don't do is pee on the tree, we call it. That is here, and the hips open up, and our rear end goes up high. That is incorrect. We need to keep it flat, parallel to the floor. That's our inverted hamstring.
Next movement we've got is the leg cradle. Concept with this is very similar to that of our knee hug. So with this, we're going to preload one leg, strap that ankle on top of the other knee. We're going to take one hand over the ankle, the other hand up underneath the knee. As I pull this knee up to the chest, I'm going to straighten my leg that's planted on the ground. This is our leg cradle here. What we don't want to see with this movement is leaning back, dropping the knee. This is not our leg cradle. Nice and upright, nice and straight, knee locked, pulling nice and tight to the chest. That's our leg cradle. The next variation we've got is the side lunge. With this movement here, we're going to side step out. When I drop step myself out, I want to make sure my toes are pointing straight ahead. I don't want my feet to be bowing out. Now, I'm going to drop my hip into the back corner. The way this is going to look is I'm going to sink that hip back, keeping my chest out, spine nice and straight. And notice as I do this, my knee is locked, foot is flat, not coming up onto that edge. Staying nice and upright, keeping this knee over my second toe. What I don't want to see with this movement is a knee cave coming on the edge of that foot or allowing this knee to sink in. From the side, drop step out, again, toes straight ahead, sinking that hip, nice and straight. Notice my chest isn't dropping, I'm not caving, I'm not leaning on the knee, I'm nice and upright, hands up top. That's our side lunge.
Next we have our lunge reach. We drop out. We're at 90 and 90 here. 90 degrees at the knee, 90 degrees at the hip for both legs. Back toe is up, not flat. Take our hands and put them together like we're praying. Elbows to ears. Chest comes up. We look up to the ceiling as high as we can. Then we drop the hips at 45 degrees towards the heel on the floor. Boom. Once we're there, we relax. Outside hand goes to the top of the kneecap. Extend the elbow. Keeps our chest up high. And we open up. That's our lunge reach. From the side, again, we drop into position. Should be 90-90. Hands come together like praying. Elbows to ears. Chest, rib cage comes up. Away from the pelvis first. Then we drop the hips at 45 towards the heel. Then rotate. Hand to the knee, elbow locked, open up. Things that we don't want to see. We're in our lunge reach, toes back. Take the hands here, we just drop forward. This is not our psoas. Or we're up here and we lean forward with the knee also. Keep the pelvis going down towards 45 degrees. Don't let the knee travel too far forward. Open up the hip. That's our lunge reach. Next one is the caterpillar out, spider right, spider left. Tate will reach down towards his toes, touch the floor, walk that out. Drops the hips, arches up the back. Drives the hips up into the sky, flattens one heel, flattens the next heel. Then either right side or left side takes a big step. Back leg remains piped straight, knees at 90. Slowly drops the elbow to the floor and then reaches to the sky. Alternates the legs. Big step with the right, 90 degrees. Pipe straight back leg, drops the elbow, reaches to the sky. Then tippy toes, the toes to the hands, best he can to stretch the hamstrings. That's the spider right, spider left. Now we're going to go over a little simple banded routine to warm up the hips, the psoases, the glutes. First one we're going to perform is the Frankenstein. Notice our bands are just above our knees, just slightly, just right above the kneecaps, not in the mid-thigh or not below the knees. We're going to keep our legs nice and locked, nice and stiff, and we're going to walk like Frankenstein, super stiff. Just sliding that back foot across the floor. No knee bend. Driving with the hip flexor on both sides. Then when we go backwards, we're going to go at a slight diagonal on both sides. Engaging the glute. Keeping the knees locked. Next one will be the monster. This is just outside of shoulder width. Toes are straight ahead. Quarter squat, butts back. We don't drop our knees forward for this. Butt back, quarter squat. Keep our toes straight ahead, and we're walking out nice and smooth, keeping pressure against the band. On the way back, we do what's called a round the ball. Foot comes into the opposite foot, and back to the outside and diagonal. All the time, keeping the toes straight ahead. Working the glutes. Next one will be a sideways movement called in and out of the mud. Toes are again straight ahead. You got to pretend your foot's stuck in that mud. You got to lift it out. You got to set it to the side. Both steps. Some kids you'll see will do this. We don't want that. Up, over, in and out of the mud. Next one we perform is called the pipe straight. Quarter squat movement, toes again straight ahead. We will explode off of the back leg, locking the leg out, pipe straight, not cheating and not leaking and not reaching. And back. Next one we perform is just a leg collapse. I get up on the ball of my foot, I allow my leg, let the band take me in. I use the glute, I drive it back out. We'll do anywhere from 15, 20, 30 repetitions. Both sides. Next one are attacks. In a set position, on the command go, we break this down. Thumbs come into the pockets like pistols, and we get into an athletic stance. All the time, keeping pressure against the bands, driving my glutes out. I'm on the balls of my feet, so that I'm in a movement pattern to be able to accelerate or multi-directional change last time. So now we're going to do some upper thoracic mobility. Two ways to do this. The first one, of course, this is just a little bit easier to do with the outside knee up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my shoulder against the wall, and then I'm just going to sky my hands around till I'm perpendicular. Just like so. We can also go this direction. And then the hardest way is the inside knee is up, leg is on the wall, same thing, hands around, and this is our upper thoracic.
So these have just been a couple of our dynamic movements that we like to implement within our athletes. These dynamic movements should be implemented as preparatory work before you get into any form of training or before you go onto the field to perform your sport. A lot of these movements aren't set in stone. You could throw in anything else that you'd like or anything else that you may have within your plethora of movement patterns. So take of that with what you will. This has been Tate with Train to Win. Thank you for watching.